A Japanese fisherman finds something kind of heavy and pulls it up, and he has hooked the propeller and the engine off of an airplane. They're in pretty bad shape. This part was pretty recognizable. The Japanese identified the type of airplane. It was a Corsair. The Japanese have returned these pieces to Intrepid. This airplane left this ship in 1945 and came back in 2023. From day one, I go looking for the human element behind what I'm working on. And I needed to know more about the pilot, Lauren Isley. And I had to find surviving family. Searching was difficult. Digging and digging and digging until there was a phone number, and I just dialed it.
Hello, I'm looking for Mr. Dale Isley. My name is Eric Payne. I'm looking for any living relatives of Lauren Isley, who was a fighter pilot and flew from the USS Intrepid during World War II. We're doing a new exhibit. We have actually located the wreckage of Lauren's aircraft.
That evening, I get a call.
Yes, I am Lauren's nephew. Lauren Isley was my uncle that I never knew because he was killed in the Second World War 5 years before I was actually born. Lauren was about 18 when he enlisted in the Navy. Uncle Dale passed away in 1999. Prior to that time, the family lore was, well, he was a naval aviator. He flew off the Intrepid. He got shot down near Japan and lost, never rejoined the squadron, never found. For the first time, our family knew that his plane had actually been located. It was just incredibly shocking news because we'd lived with the, sudden and abrupt history of his fate for, almost 80 years, and, it ended without either him or his plane being recovered, and so we kind of assumed that was never going to happen.
I think he had to put the phone down, and then his wife gets on. He goes, "This is going to be very emotional for my husband. Give him a moment." I'm like, "What have I found? This is going to be good." And it all snowballed from there. And meeting Dale Isley over the phone like that was just the highlight of this exhibit for me.
It was a very meaningful, emotional conversation, and I told Eric initially, I'm all in on this. We'll do whatever we can to help the Intrepid tell this story as the best way that it can.
And I think I was crying when I was telling my wife. It was like, I can't believe how, emotionally attached.
He was excited about finding me, and then the letters and the artifacts that I have in my possession. It was a very meaningful, emotional conversation.
Lauren Isley was a farm kid from Missouri. That's an all-American boy.
My family's from a very small town in northern Missouri by the name of Meadville, Missouri. They owned a small family farm south of Meadville. There were three Isley brothers, to coin a phrase. They were Dale, the oldest. He served in the Army during World War II. In North Africa for the most part, as I recall. The second brother, the middle brother, was Lauren. He was 4 years younger than Dale. And of course, he served as a naval aviator during World War II. My father, Wayne, was the youngest, 4 years again younger than the middle brother, Lauren. And he served in the Merchant Marines during the latter part of World War II.
The more I learned about him, the more I realized that he was just that young boy who wanted to serve his country.
He was a very pleasant, likable sort of a fellow. He was a Boy Scout, loved hunting and fishing.
He had lost his mother at a young age. He lost his father more recently at that point. The war was here and it was happening, and he wanted to participate and contribute in a patriotic way.
He graduated high school in June of 1942, and he enlisted in December of 1942. So Lauren was, I think, about 18 then when he enlisted in the Navy. We have medals that he was awarded: the Purple Heart, his naval airpin. Yeah, it's a strange sort of a thing to have these sort of inanimate objects that connect you to a person that you never really knew.
Lauren had to be a pretty sharp guy. The Corsair was designed as a fighter plane to be operated from carriers. Imagine you learn how to drive in a Ford Fiesta and now you get the keys to a Ferrari.
I think this was, according to the journal that we have, this was the first plane that he actually trained on. It wasn't easy to fly at about 50%, just couldn't do it. Yeah, he wrote a letter to my uncle the day after his first flight in a Corsair. I have never flown anything so sweet and smooth. Just imagine sailing through the air on a magic carpet, and you have the description. Landing was the thing that had me worried, but I brought her down in a sweet landing. Then I felt the pressure leave. There is nothing like getting over the first hurdle, and this was a big one. It was a great and happy feeling to plant my feet on Mother Earth again. I like to fly, but know damn well that one of these sweet-looking jobs can be my Waterloo. Found this letter from his commander that day, George Weems. I guess I'll start here. The weather over the target area was not good at first. After looking over other possible targets, we returned and found conditions ideal. The flight leader gave a radio call designating the target, the type of attack, and the rendezvous area. Our division had done this so often in training, it seems like old stuff, though we knew that this time it was real and that we'd meet some opposition. I chose for our targets a group of planes in revetments on the land side of the field. They were undamaged and made choice targets for our 6 hard-hitting 50 caliber guns. The run was from up sun at a very high speed and steep angle. The last I saw of Lauren was just as he acknowledged my signals when I started to dive. Lauren never rejoined the formation. Said the plane hit the water at terrific speed several hundred yards offshore. It broke up and sank immediately. What hit me hardest was not just losing a pilot of the squadron, but losing the one we did.
He probably got hit by ground fire, disabled his airplane. And when you look at the parts, the impact with the water was pretty severe. I would almost hope that he didn't see that part coming, but we just don't know. Yeah.
The plane is such a powerful connection to him. He was flying it, he died in it. I hope that it provides people some perspective on war, sacrifice, and loss. Our family is tremendously honored that he's going to be remembered, by us and by others for what he did.
This is what we do at Intrepid. We take these parts that, as dilapidated as they may appear, they tell a story, and it's a story of Intrepid.